Yo, what's going on, folks? It's me, Justin, and today I'm going to be talking about why just build or just create great content is terrible advice for people that are still looking for advice on how to create a niche website. All right, it's kind of the hard part of the business model for a lot of people because it's more of like a sales thing as opposed to just a writing thing behind the computer. Creating and publishing, and I don't have to talk to anybody or interact with anybody. Yeah, you got to do some you got to either pay for it outright or do some cold outreach and do some exchanges or whatever the case is. So it's a little bit more, difficult in an already pretty easy business model. You know what I mean? So the problem with this advice is there are very few niches or sub niches or industries or whatever that you can get away with not building backlinks for. Like, and of those, all it takes is somebody who finds that same thing and they do build backlinks, and then you're shit out of luck. It seems like a lot of the course sellers and the people that do kind of loud, just build great content, you don't need backlinks, they kind of fall into a few different categories. And it seems like it's like they actually do build backlinks, but it might not be talked about, or if they don't, share their site or whatever, like they actually are building backlinks, whether it be directly just buying them or doing outreach, or maybe they are creating content that is meant to garner backlinks, but they might not talk about that. And that's not, top 10 blenders type posts, but they're conducting surveys and getting data and analyzing that data and creating it, and it might be searchable, or they might just be pitching journalists with it, whatever. So they might just be building backlinks as is. Another thing, or another category they might fall into, is they just got lucky and you're looking at survivorship bias. They just happen to start a site 10 years ago and they were the only one on the scene, so they were able to get away with that. And through being able to get away with it, they eventually built a backlink profile that is impressive organically. So yes, for them, it worked out that they didn't have to build backlinks when they started the site 10 years ago. But if you go and look at, if they share an income report, it's like they have one site that makes 100 times what all their other sites make because they're trying to replicate that success, and it just doesn't work like that anymore. So, I mean, I'd look out for that if I were you. Or I guess the other one would be they've been doing it long enough and they're experienced enough in doing keyword research and all this other stuff, all the other facets of SEO, where they are able to find opportunities in which backlinks are not necessarily required to rank and to earn money. And that is not something that, Joe first website, I need a course to set me on the right pathway. They don't have that skill set or that ability, that innate ability that somebody with 10 years of experience doing this would have. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's not, it might be, I actually don't know how to pronounce this word. I think I've only read it. Disingenuous? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It might be something where, or it might be misinformation, disinformation. It might be something where, in order to keep, in order to stepping on toes, they just go, hey, yeah, you don't need to build backlinks. And then you're wondering why after a year and 172 articles, you're getting, 16,000 people per month and making $70 a month. And that is a specific example because that is something forum that I'm participating in. That's basically what this guy has been, going through. He has 170 some posts, and he consistently says like, oh yeah, I'm not building backlinks. I'm following, in this case, the Fat Stacks guy, his methodology of just publishing. That's also where my example of, well, he has one site that he started a decade ago that is making, I don't know, 100,000 a month. And then he has, 10 other sites that are making $500, $1,000, whatever. And it's like, does he really is that like he got lucky and he put in the work for this one site and he cannot replicate that success across, other niches. Or some people be like, oh yeah, $500, $1,000, $2,000 a month that's great. That's perfect for me. Blah 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 blah. But it's like the amount of knowledge that the innate knowledge, not the stuff that you can teach somebody, but the stuff that you don't even know that you know because it's an unconscious competency. You don't have to think about it. You can just recognize it. That can't be taught. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying courses are bad or course creators are bad, but it's like, look at the track record of the individual. If they have one W under their belt, it's how, how great are they? Because I've said this before many, many times, but like every single niche and industry and every single site, everything, there's a subsection of influence that is nuance. I don't know why I said that, like made it more complicated to say than it is. Nuance is massive in that, you start a site and you do really well at it and you go, I'm going to replicate this site in a different niche. I'm going to do exactly what I did here, but to this one, and it flops. And it's because the methodology for this one does not match the methodology required for this one. There are things in this niche, whatever, that you have to do that don't work here. You have a site that you don't have to build backlinks for, because whatever, it's so obscure, you're the only guy doing it, which is like my case. You try to do that with something more mainstream and you're gonna fall on your face. So I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it sounds really nice when people say you don't have to build backlinks. All you have to do is create great content and backlinks will come, or Google will recognize that your content is great, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's by and large bullshit for the vast majority of people. It does work for some sites and some niches, but if you're Joe, I just got here, it's probably not going to work for you. And that's that. Like, build backlinks. It's not hard. Here's what I'm doing. I literally set this up before I record this video, and I'll probably talk more about it tomorrow. But I just set up a survey for my kind of case study site, because what I can do is, once I get a number of responses, and it's very niche specific and yada yada yada, but people come in, they take the survey. Once I get 500 plus responses, then I can take all that data and create like reports for it. And I take those reports, share it in like industry forums and subreddits and things like that. I can take that and pitch it to relevant news sources and say, hey, we just did a survey. We got 500 responses. Here's what they all had to say about this stuff. And it's not hey, here's 10 top 10 blenders, please link to it. It's that once one of those, all I need is one or two or three of those sources to publish our findings. Just here's some interesting stats. And this is kind of one of those things where, again, the nuance comes into play, and the innate ability, because my degree, I had a emphasis or focus, like a subsect for like public relations. So I know how to send a pitch to journalists, because I had to do it, and I've done it, and I had to study how to write a news article and all that kind of stuff. News media. So I know what they're looking for as far as pitches go. I don't know if I could teach that, because I just know it and I don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? But anyway, at the end of the day, just build some backlinks.